Don't worry, bro. Just monitor me.
This black gunk is why your neuropathy won't go away. Okay, this might look gross, but trust me, you need to see this. These patches.
Let's talk now to Matt Vickers, MP. Let's talk now to Matt Vickers, MP, Deputy Conservative Chairman and Shadow Minister for the Home Office. I think those are new titles now since the reshuffle. Matt, very good morning to you.
Good morning, mate. All the jobs, all the jobs.
Yeah, listen, I mean, you've had more jobs than old, what's his name, Warnock, the football manager. He seems to be getting a new job every 5 minutes. Now, listen, this problem that we have with the police. Let's talk now to Matt Vickers, MP, Deputy Conservative Chairman and Shadow Minister for the Home Office. I think those are new titles now since the reshuffle. Matt, very good morning to you.
Good morning, mate. All the jobs, all the jobs.
Yeah, listen, I mean, you've had more jobs than old, what's his name, Warnock, the football manager. He seems to be getting a new job every 5 minutes. Now, listen, this problem that we have with the police in this country, you used to be a Shadow Minister for the police, I believe. They're saying they're not ready if anything does kick off this summer. Do you think it's wise that both the police and the government seem to be talking up the possibility of there being riots this summer?
I mean, what you've seen in the last few days is actually lots of genuine people who are really frustrated about an issue in their communities, coupled with a gang of yobs who turn up and try to make these things, often travelling quite a distance, the extremists that travel in to create holy hell in these situations. Yeah. The violence that we see is entire. Police need to be braced for it. But of course, the big news today on policing and why they definitely won't be as prepared for it as they should be is the fact that under this Labour government, we've already, this year, lost 1,316 police. Make these things, often travelling quite a distance.
Do you think it's wise that both the police and the government seem to be talking up the possibility of there being riots this summer?
I mean, what you've seen in the last few days is actually lots of genuine people who are really frustrated about an issue in their communities, coupled with a gang of yobs who turn up and try to make these things, often travelling quite a distance, the extremists that travel in to create holy hell in these situations. Yeah. The violence that we see is entire. Police need to be braced for it. But of course, the big news today on policing and why they definitely won't be as prepared for it as they should be is the fact that under this Labour government, we've already, this year, lost 1,316 police officers on our streets. Policing is going the wrong way as the world becomes more dangerous. When we left office, there was a record number of police on the streets. We need more police, not less.
Yeah. Well, exactly. And I mean, if you were in government right now and you were watching yesterday's press conference, I assume you saw it from the Chief Constable of the Essex Police, BJ Harrington, would you not have stepped in as the government and said to this guy, sorry, mate, you've got to stand down, you've got to resign, because, you know, you have made a massive blunder here, even if it wasn't your decision, to escort these left-wing activists into an area where, one, they were put in danger, and two, you created what was nearly a riot situation?
I think one of the problems with the story at the minute is yesterday it started off as, you know, the police were shipping them in and out in vans and it sort of seems to have been an emerging story. I think there's definitely serious questions that need to be asked. We need to get to the bottom of exactly what went on, who made what decisions, and whether it was compliant with what these guys are trained to do in these situations. Anything that inflates such a situation is obviously a disaster.
Yeah, well, that's what happened. We know exactly what happened because he's admitted it. You know, they went and met them at the station. They escorted them to the event, to the hot point of where the demonstration was going on, which at that point was completely peaceful. They then allowed them to demonstrate in such a way that it became less peaceful, and the clashes then started to happen. The police then had to get involved, and they were in such a dangerous position, they thought, that they then put them into vans and drove them back to the station. You know, so you've got all the facts you need. Surely, if you're the government, you have to say to this guy, you're out of a job, mate.
Well, the government and policing more generally, the policing family, the national police chiefs have to look at what went on, look at the and make a real assessment about where he has gone wrong and what's happened. I think that's kind of for them, and it's kind of for the ins and outs of specifically where and when. But the reality is, with all of these things, everybody says, oh, it's all these terrible rioters who are opposed to hotels. No, there are genuine people out there who actually, not only are they're distraught about what's gone on in the community, they're also distraught about the fact that all this goes on their doorstep. When this violence breaks out, the people who suffer, the people who live around the corner, who are already going through all this trauma, it's all people who daren't leave their house, it's businesses who have to lock up their doors for the day. Yeah. It has real consequences for people. You know, it might be a punch-up
but Matt,
protesters from elsewhere in the country.
It was your lot that put these people in the hotels in the first place. I mean, many of these hotels, and certainly the one in Epping, has been a migrant hotel for the last 5 years, right? So 4 of those years were under the Tory government.
Yeah, I think sometimes, though, we've got to put it in the context. If there was a problem there was a deterrent. These people should, if they arrive in this country, be detained and removed. If you break into this country and come illegally, you shouldn't be allowed to stay.
Yeah,
What's happened
but
since
the Tory government,
the number of people arriving.
But Matt, the Tory government did
the number
exactly
of people arriving has gone up. Well, it started to reduce it, so it put in place a deterrent. We were going to ship these people out, which is the right thing to do. You shouldn't be able to stay if you arrive illegally. What was happening to the number of hotels? It was going down. Since Labour came into office, it's gone up. It's gone up significantly. There are nearly 50% more people arriving in the country. Why is that? It's because the number of people, well, we've seen this huge growth in the amount of benefits being claimed by foreign nationals. We've also seen the fact that Keir has made it a possibility that if you arrive in this country illegally, you can become a British citizen. We've actually written in law, you can't do that. If you break into the country, you can't become a British citizen. He's put the red carpet out. He's put a big banner saying, come on in, you can become a British citizen. He's removed some of the things that allowed us to verify people's ages and check how old they were when they arrived in the country. He literally put out the red carpet for these people to break into our country.
Yeah, well, to be fair, that's exactly what the Tory party did as well, and because some of the people who are here came during the time that you were in charge. I mean, would you admit, for example, now, Matt, that it was a mistake to actually allow all of these people to come here and to put them up in hotels in the first place?
I think it was a disaster to allow so many people to come in illegally, but I don't think we did allow people to. I mean, obviously, I wasn't a minister in the last government. Kemi wasn't a leader.
but
the
you were
reality is,
part
she
of- you
said
were part
it's
of
a
that party.
disaster. She said that it's a disaster. Well, she's conceded that government's completely got this wrong. We've now got to deal with the issue. The reality is it's getting so much worse. The previous government had started to reduce the number of people staying in hotels. And actually, the number of people arriving illegally who are removed has gone down since Labour came to office, whilst the number hasn't just gone up. That's the problem. We keep pushing everything in together and making it one story. The reality is since Labour came in, nearly 50% increase. It is a car crash. And it's not just getting worse, it's getting significantly, well, hugely worse, actually.
Yeah. What about this story on the front page of the Daily Mail today? In the past year, over 6,000 migrants have used government-issued cards loaded with £50 a week at betting shops and casinos. Now, presumably, some of that happened under your watch. You were probably giving these people these cards, weren't you?
Well, I definitely wasn't giving anyone any cards, but no, that sounds utterly disastrous, entirely unacceptable. It can't be a thing. The reality is we need to get back to the entire principle of a deterrent. If these people come, they need to be removed. We've seen Greece of all places, and now looking at how we handle it. And actually, you don't start registering them and giving them the right to apply if they enter illegally. You just remove them. That's where we need to be. We cannot go on allowing people to come into the country. The pressure on public services, the pressure on public finances, and all of that is paid for by British taxpayers. We can't go on like this.
We can't go on like this, absolutely right. But, you know, according to this piece that came in originally from Politics Home, Peterborough has seen a huge increase in the number of gambling establishments and gaming centres and a huge increase in men who've arrived on small boats. It's not unusual to see the very same men in some of the establishments on a Thursday, Friday or Saturday night. There is something going on. The Home Office say that there are gambling establishments and gaming centres and a huge increase in men who've arrived on small boats. It's not unusual to see the very same men in some of the establishments on a Thursday, Friday or Saturday night. There is something going on. The Home Office say that there are 80,000 individuals who are entitled to use these cards, right? So that obviously means that they were given them before the last year has happened, because there's only 40-odd thousand that have come in the year. While they're waiting for a decision on whether they have a valid claim to stay in the UK, they are living in hotels at taxpayers' expense, and they're given these cards by the Home Office. So that must have been Conservative Party policy.
Well, I don't know that it was, but I mean, it's utterly ridiculous. It's entirely unacceptable. I obviously wasn't amongst it to see that, but we need to get to the bottom of who would allow something
Yeah, but this is why people have lost faith.
But the reality is,
this is why people have lost faith with the Tories. I'm sorry to tell you this, and I'm not trying to be mean to you. I'm just saying that, this is why people don't trust you, because a lot of this stuff started under the Tories.
Mike, I've been appearing on your show since 2019 when I arrived. You know my views.
Yeah.
You know what I think on all these
do.
issues. And you know that I obviously also wasn't afraid to speak out against the government and got into lots of trouble for it. But I think on things like this, when you compare the two records, the reality is things aren't just getting a little bit worse, Mike. They're getting much
Yes,
much
no, I
worse
get that.
under Labour.
And
More
you-
people
listen-
arriving, more people staying in hotels, and less